The House of Whispering Maps. English Story Level 6. When Rylan inherited his great-uncle's house at the edge of Halewind Forest, he expected a crumbling cottage filled with dusty trinkets and forgotten books. Instead, he found a mansion with vaulted ceilings, shifting corridors, and walls covered entirely in maps. They overlapped like scales, drawn in inks of every shade: rusty reds, oceanic blues, glimmering golds. Some maps showed familiar continents, while others depicted places he had never heard of. Floating archipelagos, underground cities, and seas shaped like spirals. The villagers warned him never to stay there overnight. They claimed the maps whispered, and if one listened too closely, the house would reveal paths not meant for human feet. Rylan dismissed the warnings as rural superstition, but on his first night, he awoke to the sound of paper rustling. Not soft, accidental rustling, deliberate movements, like hands shuffling through ancient scrolls. When he lit his lantern, the maps on the nearest wall twitched. Lines shifted, coastlines curved, and tiny inked waves rippled across drawn oceans. Rylan approached slowly, mesmerized by the fluidity of the ink. Suddenly, a map depicting a forest glowed faintly. Trees drawn in emerald ink swayed as though caught in a breeze. A path appeared, shimmering faintly. It was the same forest the house bordered. Against his better judgment, Rylan touched the path. The paper dissolved beneath his fingers, and a gust of cool air enveloped him. He stumbled forward and fell through the wall into a living, breathing forest. It was Halewind, but older, wilder, and shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Flowers pulsed with faint blue light. Roots curled like serpents. The air hummed with distant whispers. A figure emerged from behind a tree, a woman with hair made of drifting smoke and eyes that reflected constellations. She greeted him by name, explaining that the maps were gateways crafted by his great-uncle, a cartographer of hidden realms. Each map represented a world discovered, but never meant to be fully entered. She warned him that staying too long would anchor him to this realm, binding him between ink and reality. Rylan wanted answers about his great-uncle, but the woman urged him back toward the shimmering path. Shadows among the trees shifted unnaturally, forming shapes with too many limbs. The forest reacted to outsiders, she explained, and it remembered every trespasser. Rylan followed her as roots clawed at the ground and branches curled like fingers reaching to grasp him. Just before reaching the gateway, a deep groan vibrated through the earth. The forest's ink-born copies of predators, wolf shapes made of swirling mist and black lines emerged from the undergrowth. The woman held them back with a wall of light, her form flickering as if drawn by an unsteady hand. She shouted for Rylan to run. He leapt through the shimmering path and crashed back into the mansion's hallway. The wall slammed shut behind him, the ink freezing into stillness. The whispers ceased. Only the echo of the woman's fading voice remained. "You must close the maps." Rylan realized the mansion was not a home, it was a prison holding hundreds of worlds at bay. And it was now his responsibility. He gathered rope, lanterns, and parchment, preparing for long nights ahead. For every map that opened, another realm stirred. And somewhere within the shifting walls, the forest woman's voice whispered warnings carried by ink and memory. Rylan knew he could never leave. The House of Whispering Maps had chosen its new cartographer, and the worlds behind the walls depended on him to keep them contained.